Hello there, and welcome to Chapter 12, Understanding Speech Genres. Let's share the screen so that way we can get going on this fantastic presentation, shall we? Okay, there we go. Movie genres create expectations in audiences before they see a given film. Basically, you get a teaser when it comes to those commercials, and when you go into the movie theater and you get all those types of teasers. And to be successful, the film must meet those expectations in some way. Rom-coms almost always have a happy ending. It's almost something that you always instantly expect. So just like movies, public speaking has a number of familiar genres that create expectations and audiences before a particular speech is even delivered. You know exactly what to expect if you are about to listen to a persuasive speech. And the same can be said with a celebratory. Sometimes not so much with an informative, but it's not that hard to easily identify as well. Three common speeches again: celebratory, informative, as well as persuasive speaking. When a form is named and becomes known to a large community, it is called a genre, a label for a widely recognized form of a given culture. If you look at the top meme, a guy looks like he's about to argue. More than likely, that is a persuasive speech. The bottom animation one, blah, 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 more than likely an informative. And you have to identify what does each one do, and that's part of the genre. So that being said, a celebratory speech, you're there to celebrate a community. It's of present time. It could actually be a eulogy to honor a deceased relative. It could be a toast that you give to at a wedding as well. It can also be an acceptance speech. Have you been a valedictorian of your class? That is actually a celebratory genre speech. When you go into an informative speech, you are there to inform as well as to educate something of the past or something that is already known. Now, an example is how to start an organic garden. As we have gotten older and we have gotten wiser, and especially with advanced time, how to speech, yes, it gives you step by steps and it educates you on how to do things. But I think that's way more simpler than we give ourselves credit for. So, what you want to do when it comes to putting together an informative genre is to shy away, if not completely eliminate, a how-to speech and more or less educate or inform your audience on a subject or a topic that is not necessarily known of everything that is going on. It could be informing or educating your audience about the benefits of CBD. You could be educating and informing your audience of gun rights, or at least the steps or whatever it is, not necessarily arguing either side, but just Second Amendment, or how the Electoral College is actually been put together and is processed. So those are things to inform or educate your audience on. When you have a persuasive genre, you are there to induce a change. And in what's the word that I want to say? In chapters past, when you want to induce change, you've noticed about social change. So it's a way to persuade, and you're talking about the future. That's the time orientation. You could argue that that people should adopt animals from rescue shelters as opposed to rather buying them from breeders, or either those stores that you find in malls where they have those puppy mills or whatever. So again, those are types of verses and comparisons that you have between the speech genres. Contrary to what you're thinking, this is an informative, or I should say, this is an unconventional celebratory message. Soccer trophy suggests your glowing seventh grade report card, despite every assurance of a certain corpulent, I cannot even talk about the word, purple dinosaur, that nice Mr. Rogers and your batty Aunt Sylvia, no matter how often your maternal Cape Crusader has swooped in to save you, you're nothing special. And I think that was an unconventional message. It may be in your ebook, but nonetheless, it's some sort of a celebratory message. It's not necessarily a persuasive, and it's certainly not there to inform you. So that is chapter 12 on your speech genres. They're very simple. but nonetheless, they're very important to decipher and to understand what you can, what you cannot do in between all those speeches. You're certainly welcome to to celebrate in each particular genre, but the focus is a celebratory speech. You're certainly welcome to inform and educate for each genre, but when you want to be specifically about informative speaking, that's another way. And you have to be very mindful as to how you want to induce change. You can't necessarily do it while informing because that's just pushing an agenda. So at least you understand the three genres. And of course, if you need to go back to your ebook, learn a little bit more so that way you can get a better understanding as to what you can and what you can't do when it comes to each individual genre. That's it for now. Have a great one. Bye bye.